If you think about it, we're a bit like the whole product, including AI
Home
detection, is a bit
inspector.
like a home
Yeah.
inspection. If
Mhm.
you're buying or selling a house, you get this report that does the roof, the plumbing, your electricity. It's comprehensive. Similarly, if you're buying or selling a company that has software, you get a comprehensive assessment of the security, the quality, the AI risk, the team, the process, and the cyber, and so on. We have done it for so long. We've looked at $1.5 trillion worth of companies and we're incredibly honored to serve some of the world's most sophisticated investors. That just hasn't. And I guess probably the most important part, besides the other parts of why this is possible, besides our security program, is that we're a third party. We are not the buyer. We are not the seller. We are an intermediary whose job it is to get an objective truth, and that has really helped us.
Very, very cool. And you've chosen to go down the path of artificial intelligence, using it and also trying to identify it. And you've been doing it for 7 years.
And of course, in teams. And of course, that data comes from code, code about sales and salespeople. And I just watched our amazing engineering leaders not have code to understand code and coders. And just the logic of it, the logic just seems so obvious and such a fun problem to figure out, because it's a really hard problem. Code, there are hundreds of languages, 50 of them at least really matter. And so if you want to understand code, you have to understand each of those 50 individually. So it was a really fun organizational effort.
Super cool. Because, there's things like Cursor and GitHub Copilot that people are using to do mid-level engineer work, and it's very repeatable stuff. But there's risks involved when you're doing plug and chug work like that, especially if the people using it don't fundamentally or foundationally understand how, code is working.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue into managing AI code risks. So kudos to you. We have found, we know that the most ethical, the safest, the most appropriate way to use Gen AI code is to ensure there's a human in the loop. Now, those of you listening who are thinking about AI usage in other fields, this will be familiar to you, because it's important for insurance decisions, all kinds of different decisions. But a human in the loop, we very much like Gen AI code as a first draft, but it must get human review. It must get a second code review. You've got to put it through all of the tools to make sure that the code is accurate. Those are all absolute must-haves. And it's really the only responsible way to be using Gen AI, no matter how good those Gen AI coding tools are.
I see that. Now, you talk a lot about responsibility. You talk about ethics. You talk about a human in the loop, because it's a feedback loop, and you really hope that you have some RTHF, real-time human feedback.